Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the GRCV Hoops Podcast. My name is Gavin Campbell, and joining me, as always, my good friend.
Howdy there, Ricardo Vargas.
And today, first of all, how are you doing, Rick?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy. You know, it's getting a little warmer. It's nice.
Yeah, the weather's been nice outside, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. How about you? How have you been?
Doing great. It was a good week. Glad to be back.
That's good.
I'm glad to be back. All right, jumping into it. LeBron James eclipsed first-time milestone last night against the Brooklyn Nets, of all teams, right? LeBron is the first player in NBA history to record 30,000 points, 8,000 assists, and 8,000 rebounds. Rick, how important is this milestone in LeBron's legacy?
Oh, it's, I think, one of his most important because, he is the only player in history to do this. It just goes to show his versatility, his knack for the game. He's truly a special talent. And I honestly don't think anybody will be able to do this.
I mean, especially he's gonna keep adding on.
Yeah, he's gonna keep adding on.
You got to think that is anyone, and records are meant to be broken, but is anyone gonna be able to catch this guy?
I don't know. And just how you said, he's gonna keep going, and if he keeps this pace that he's going at for at least 2-3 more years, it's gonna be really tough to top what he's done in the league.
I mean, he's got a solid 3 years left, so you have to think what he's gonna be able to finish with. Could he reach the first player, with 10,000 assists, 10,000 rebounds? And 10,000 points.
That would be just absolutely incredible.
Not just 10,000 points. He'll probably get somewhere close to Kareem by the end of his career, if not passing him. It's going to be close.
And that's just crazy to think about. The only player right now in the NBA I think that's a little bit similar to LeBron, but I don't think he's going to be as good as Giannis Antetokounmpo. He can score and rebound, but he's not as good a passer as LeBron.
That, and I think Giannis really has to work on his jump shot, because I think anywhere outside of 10 to 12 feet is really tough for him to be effective.
Yeah, that's true.
And not to compare him to Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis is a shooter for the big man position. I wouldn't say he's as good as like a DeMarcus Cousins or someone like that. But,
right.
AD and Giannis is pretty much similar. If you give Giannis AD's shooting ability, I think they're neck and neck right there.
Honestly,
if you put them side by side, but
who would you rather have
right now?
Right now,
Anthony Davis.
And
that's not just because he had a monster game a couple nights ago.
No, yeah, that's
or a handful of other monster nights in the past couple months. I mean, the guy is a freak of nature.
He's been a monster these past few weeks. It's incredible.
I mean, getting back to LeBron though, because we'll talk about AD later in the show, but. God, I mean, it's been nothing but praise for this guy when it comes to his basketball ability. I've always had positive things to say to him, other than his decision to leave the Cavs in 2010. I didn't like the way he did it. Although looking back on it, he had his reasons for doing it, and I can respect it in hindsight. But the way that he left Cleveland the first time, I thought was a little. I don't want to say disrespectful, but I can't think of another word.
Yeah, for sure.
Because his time in Miami, he was probably the most hated man in basketball.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was
he was
the Kevin Durant of now. I mean, that's what it was. He kind of started the whole supervillain persona. Because when Kevin Garnett went to the Celtics, I didn't see him as a villain.
Oh no.
Because he had done so much for the Timberwolves, and he played for that franchise, I believe, longer than.
He played his heart out.
Than LeBron did in Cleveland. LeBron played in Cleveland for 7 years before he left. I think KG was well over 10 years. Well, not well over. I think it was 11 seasons before he decided to go to Boston. Yeah. So he had many, many years, the majority of his career with the Timberwolves, and he holds countless records for the franchise. And you really can't knock a guy for doing what he did.
For sure. So, after 10 years, you got to understand.
Yeah, I mean 7. Obviously LeBron wasn't in his prime yet. Although he was getting there, because I think a player's prime, you hover around 28, 29 years of age. And I think when LeBron left, he was 26, right? Was he 25 or 26 when he left?
I think it would be around 26.
Yeah, because when he went back to Cleveland, I think he was turning 30.
30, yeah.
So, I think he was 26 years old when he left. So, I mean, not quite in his prime yet. I would have liked to have seen him stay for at least another couple years just to see if they could have worked something else. And I know there's always the argument, well, he didn't have help. The best player on the team was Ilgauskas. You know, he played with guys like Booby Gibson and Anderson Varejao, and that one year, Mo Williams was the second best player.
Like, come on, Mo.
I mean, do you remember Mo Williams?
Mo Williams, yes. Like, come on. Like don't
one of
disrespect LeBron like that. Like, give him some help.
Right. No disrespect to Mo Williams either. I mean, he's
No,
one of the great journeymen of the NBA, and you know, any team that he's gone to, I wouldn't say has gotten worse because of it. But he's just not a guy you want as your second option. You know?
Right. You remember when he dropped I think 50 points?
Was that for the Jazz that he did that in?
Man, I can't remember.
I think so. He's played for so many different teams.
So many teams. Jazz, Cavs.
You know, I think he played for the Hawks one season.
I think the Hawks. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Rockets. I don't know.
Honestly, I lose track. He's played, and I used to actually get him and Lou mixed up just because they both had Williams as their last name. It's like, well, who have they played for?
Yeah, for sure. And they kind of resemble each other
a little bit, yeah, especially in their roles. You know, they're both you know, not short, but I mean, for their position, they're short and they like to score the ball.
Yeah,
you know, that's what they do, and lack of defense. But you know, yeah, this, like you said, this is his greatest accomplishment to me. And no disrespect to any of the championships that he's won or any MVP awards that have come his way, but this is truly,
he's the only one to do this.
Yeah, it's exactly. Champions come and go, MVPs come and go. This is and will solidify him in NBA history forever.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he's definitely put his mark on the game of basketball, and this is an absolutely incredible accomplishment by LeBron.
Yes. Congratulations to him, for sure.
And real quick, I want to touch on how do you like the new look Cavs so far? We've seen them play, I think, 7 games together, and I think that they're 4-3. I want to say before the end of the month. So we've had, you know, a couple weeks worth of games to see them. What are your thoughts?
I definitely like them more than that mess they had going on before that happened. So I do like this new team, and hopefully they play better. And no, I think it's good. I like it. And I hope to see them in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, you would hope so. It's just, you know, where they end up, I think, is going to be the big question.
That's true.
I know it's a small sample size, but their defense has improved a little bit. But I want to ask, who do you think was the most important acquisition? You know, whether it be George Hill, Rodney Hood, or one of the Lakers.
That's a tough one, but I think it'll have to be either George Hill because of his veteran presence and he's still a solid player, or I think for me the most talented one is Jordan Clarkson, and I think he still has potential left. I think he's a special player. I think if they use him right, he can be a star.
Yeah,
not superstar, a star, like a 20-5-5 type of guy.
Yeah, I don't think that he's you know, on a bad contract either. I mean, $16 million a year for the next, I think, you know, 3 years, especially with the salary cap sitting the way that it is. I mean, I think anyone would be happy to have this contract on their books.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think obviously the only reason the Lakers wanted it off is so they could create the room for 2 max contracts.
Right.
And you know, obviously already having Lonzo Ball and then getting back Isaiah Thomas. So
yes,
which probably will not be back with the Lakers.
Which is sad to know, cause man,
I mean, he played well before Lonzo came back. I thought he did okay. The Lakers didn't do a lot of winning, but statistically, I thought he played okay.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. And it's crazy to think about, like, this guy was just in the MVP conversation last year, and now look at this.
Fourth in MVP voting.
That's pretty crazy.
And now you're, you know, in a backup role for a bottom feeder in the Western Conference. That's okay. I don't want to say bottom feeder because I think the Lakers have the 10 seed right now. But you're still not making the playoffs. I mean, you're definitely a handful of games out of the playoffs race right now.
No, for sure. And they have a bright future because they're young core.
If you're a true Laker fan and you know you've been following the team, you know, since Kobe, sinst Shaq,
you got to be excited.
You have to be looking up because you know it's been really disappointing the past 4 years, 5 years maybe.
Oh my god.
I won't say 5 years. 2013, the Lakers were disappointing season, but still a fun team to watch.
Yeah, for sure. No, Brandon Ingram, I really like him.
Yeah, I'm telling you, second coming to Kevin Durant. He's gonna fill into that. He's gonna put on a little bit more weight, and he's gonna fill out. He's gonna be a tremendous talent.
It's gonna be fun to watch. Like he's so young, 20 years old. That's crazy.
Exactly. I think the pairing of him and Lonzo Ball, as long as they can keep his loudmouth father under control, it's gonna be just fine.
Oh yeah, and I'm happy that that's kind of died down.
Yeah,
right now
we don't really hear too much out of him anymore, and when we do, I think his outlandish statements have gotten to the point where we just don't care.
Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Like, cause it's really not as bad anymore, and hopefully, like I said, the Lakers reach their full potential soon.
Yeah, and it's going to be really, really intriguing to see what they do with this offseason.
Oh yes,
Because not only
definitely.
that, they have a stacked draft coming up, and they have the Cavs first round pick, so they still have a first round pick. It's just going to be probably, bottom 5 in the first round, probably around the 20, 25, 26 range. But having said that, they can use that draft pick on maybe a sleeper pick like they did last year with Kyle Kuzma. And then let's not forget about him. He's going to be a prolific scorer.
I forget about him.
The talent ceiling is probably the highest for him when it comes to, and no disrespect to Lonzo Ball or Brandon Ingram or anything, but just from what we've seen his rookie season, I mean, he can be the scorer that you want off your bench.
Yes.
Probably, I see a 6th Man of the Year award in his future, if not multiple, somewhere down the line, if he stays in Los Angeles.
Oh yes, no, I agree with you 100%. I think he will be a star in the league.
Yeah.
Because Lonzo Ball, he's like a Jason Kidd, very similar stats, the rookie years and whatnot.
Yes.
And Lonzo's a great player. He's going to be a great talent, but I don't think he's like an MVP type of guy.
Right.
But I think Kuzma's just like more like just a scoring star.
It's his persona, I think, that Lonzo doesn't really have. Like, yes, he has tremendous talent and court vision, and he's a likable guy. He's a guy you want on your team. And he keeps to himself. He's not a loudmouth like his dad is. He doesn't get all the media attention that guys like LeBron James like to do.
Right.
But I think that team, any superstar this season, like I was getting back to, is going to want to sign with the Lakers because of being able to play with an unselfish point guard, a true point guard like Lonzo Ball, an upcoming star in Brandon Ingram, and one of the best players you could have on your bench right now in Kyle Kuzma. If I'm an NBA superstar and I'm looking for my next contract, I am definitely keeping my eyes on Los Angeles.
Oh, for sure. And those NBA guys with all that money, LA, a lot of stuff to do, a great destination. Like, I'd rather play there than Utah.
Yeah, right. Either Utah or
Detroit. Oh, God.
Yeah, I was about to say I would hate to say Detroit, but I mean I really don't want to play there either. These guys want to play for,
and they're so young. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. It helps to have a guy like Magic Johnson as your GM or president of basketball operations, whatever his title is. We know that he has power within the organization, but I mean there's a quote that he had back in the day, and I can't remember word for word, but he said when he played for the Lakers, "There's no Showtime like LA."
No, that's true.
They were called the Showtime Lakers for a reason. Not just because of what they were able to produce as a team and being honestly probably one of the greatest teams of all time, if not the best.
Has to be.
With Magic and Kareem and James Worthy, Michael Cooper, Kurt Rambis. I mean, just those teams
guys
were insane. AC Green,
yeah. Byron Scott was on
Byron
those
Scott,
teams.
of course, yeah, and he was a knockdown shooter back
in
his
day.
Yeah.
Yes. I've taken a lot of threes from him in NBA 2K. No, I didn't know he was that good of a shooter.
Right, and you know what? You don't think about these coaches. Some of these NBA coaches today. How good they were back in their player days.
They were good.
It's crazy to go back and look at that. But no, I'm excited just not just for Laker fans, but the Lakers as a franchise, because same thing with New York. You want your big market teams to be successful.
Exactly.
And that's the simplest business memo that you could have.
They're gonna generate money. If they're good, they're gonna generate a lot of money.
Exactly.
And that's good for the league, of course.
But speaking of big market teams, not big market teams. Let's be honest. I mean, it's in Florida, but the Orlando Magic. Okay, we need to go back in time here, ladies and gentlemen, and revisit one of the most interesting players in the NBA and NBA history, for that matter, and one of my favorite players back in the day, Dwight Howard. It is to my understanding that there's too many people out there, and tell me if I'm wrong, Rick, but there's too many people out there that disrespect Dwight because of how he's playing right now and how he's not living up to what he used to be able to do. I mean, the man's in his 30s now. He's a big man. His body's breaking down. He's had multiple he's had multiple back injuries. He's had knee problems. I'm pretty sure he's also had an ankle injury. It's just it's really sad to see how far he's fallen, because he used to be so talented.
Dominant.
The most dominant big man in his time. For at least a stretch of 4 or 5 seasons. Going back to when the Magic drafted Dwight in 2009.
It was.
No, sorry. Wow, way off. 2004.
Yeah,
that's when they drafted him. 2004. See, that's how long it's been. He's been in the league for 14 years.
That's a long time.
So, I mean, he's 31, 32?
Has to be up there.
I mean, he's
Around
getting
there.
up there. But let me
Straight
tell
out
you,
of high school.
but let me tell you this: there's too many people that I've seen when they ask the question, "Is Dwight Howard a Hall of Famer?" and they say no. This is blasphemy to me. Okay, absolute blasphemy, because this is a guy that not only is, first of all, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, but he averaged 20 and 10 for at least 3 or 4 seasons. And on top of that, he also averaged over 3 blocks for, I think, all 3 of his Defensive Player of the Year seasons, and then 1 season after that, or before that, excuse me. And then he also took his team to the NBA Finals, really dragged his team to the NBA Finals.
Oh yeah, basically alone.
Your second best player is Jameer Nelson. Okay, and when he went to the finals, Jameer Nelson was an all-star that season, but let me tell you, that was BS. He shouldn't have been there. He was voted in. He was voted in because the Magic had the best record in the East, and they needed a replacement. That's it.
Yeah, cause
no other reason he should be there. No disrespect to Jameer Nelson. He's a great backup. He's a great backup. He's
great
not
role
a starter.
player. Yeah.
He's not a starter.
No, yeah, not even a starter.
But when Dwight Howard dragged that sorry team to the NBA Finals, he gave the Orlando Magic the only Finals victory in their franchise history. Not even Shaq could do that, and Shaq went to the Finals with Penny Hardaway. Okay, and when they went up against Hakeem and the Houston Rockets, they got swept right off the floor. I mean, the series was over faster than you could blink. I mean, because Hakeem had Shaq's number.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Hakeem,
and then you have Clyde Drexler and Kenny Smith and those guys. I mean, they
were dominant. Yeah,
they just did work on Penny Hardaway. They couldn't do anything. There was nobody outside of those 2 guys that really could step up. I mean, Dennis Scott was a sharpshooter, but he's not taking over a game. Okay, so I just want people to understand that Dwight, what he's done throughout his career, yes, you know, he's fallen off. Yes, he had a falling out with Kobe in Los Angeles. Yes, it didn't work out in Houston with James Harden. And yes, he's playing on a sorry team right now in Charlotte for the Hornets. But he's still averaging 17 and 12 and a half rebounds this season.
You know, like how many guys are doing that this season? Not a lot.
I'm just saying, I think it's really disrespectful of someone else to disrespect Dwight Howard, because he's not only that, he's such a nice guy. And
such a nice guy. I was just about to say one of the most likable guys in the league.
Exactly.
To be honest.
And people that say he's a cancer in the locker room, really, how ridiculous is that? I don't understand. You know, everyone has an ego, right? So obviously, people are going to have their own agendas. But when someone is that nice of a guy, you know, when someone is willing to, you know, just be there.
Just be there, yeah. He looks like he just likes to have fun. Like,
exactly. He
love
enjoys the game, you know, and yes, he wants to score the ball, and yes, he wants to you know, quote unquote, put on a show because he wants to be the guy. You can't. I don't think you can knock him for that.
No, yeah.
I think everyone wants to be the guy at one point or another, but he knows now that he's not. Is it too late? Probably.
Yeah.
Because Kemba's the number 1 option there, but being the number 2 option and averaging 17 and 12 and a half.
You can't complain with that.
No, I think anyone would want that on their team. And it's like we were talking about before the show. I think that if Charlotte had a second option or even a first option outside of Kemba at like the small forward or the shooting guard position, Charlotte would be a playoff team. If Dwight Howard is your third option, there's no way you're not a playoff team.
No, and especially in the East, like
exactly,
they could do some serious damage, and Dwight Howard still has a couple of years left to do some damage. Like,
I think he's definitely got at least 3 or 4 seasons before he calls it quits. I think, at least, especially if you're putting up 17 and 12.
Like why would you?
Yeah, why would you do? Especially, you know, he's already making $27 million a year.
I'd still be playing.
I mean, I'm not, you know, signing off on that contract to retire. I mean,
right.
I want to get paid.
Yeah, like for sure. No, I agree with you 100%. Like this is one of the best centers the league has seen. You know, hasn't won a ring and whatnot, but like the numbers he's put, his personality, likable guy. Like you can't disrespect him. He gets a bad rap. Like even Kobe didn't like him. You know.
Right, but I think he put the Orlando Magic back on the map.
For multiple seasons.
Right, after, you know, they had the falling out with Shaq in the late 90s. You know, when your franchise is like that for, you know, 5 or 6 seasons, and you can draft a guy that's, you know, really, I don't want to say transcendent, because Dwight, I don't think was honestly, when he first started out, I think he was a transcendent player in the way that, you know, he was able to block shots and really just not let anybody inside the paint whatsoever.
And as a high school guy, like he came out of high school.
Exactly. People forget about that. He was doing this at 19 years old.
That's crazy.
He was like the LeBron James of big men when it happened. It was kind of like the second coming of Shaq, really, because they were both playing in Magic uniforms.
Both Superman.
So, yeah, exactly, to both Superman. Oh, let's not forget his dunk contest. He put on one of the best, really twice.
Yeah.
Even though Nate beat him the second time, he put on two incredible performances. He did acts we'd never seen before.
Those are fun.
And going back and watching them and just what Dwight was able to do, and I just think it deserves more respect.
He does. No,
I think when it's all said and done, he'll be a top 10 big man of all time. When I think it's all said and done, when you look back on the first, I think 7 years of his career, you'll be wow, we really, I don't want to say was unappreciative of Dwight, but really I think we were. I think we took what he did for granted.
No, yeah, we did take it for granted, and I'll miss him when he's done playing for sure.
One of my favorite players of all time.
I want to meet him, just.
Yeah, really, I mean, he's the kind of guy that I just want to sit down and just be like, man, how you doing?
Right, just grab some lunch with him. Just, what's up, big fella?
Yeah, literal big fella.
Yes.
I mean, body. And I don't know what kind of supplements that guy is taking, but he is shredded.
Yeah.
I mean, he is one of the most fit athletes I've ever seen.
And he's so big. Like, imagine taking a spear from him.
Oh,
like,
no.
You're done.
Oh, that gives me chills, man.
You're just trying to get a rebound over him.
Yeah, even now, I mean, being 32 years old, he's still grabbing rebounds over guys.
Exactly,
that are 6-7 years younger than him.
And he's just like you said, he's ripped.
But moving on to another player that unfortunately we did not get to in the last episode, but he did have a meniscus tear a few days ago. That was a week ago. Yeah. Well, over a week ago. Yeah, because we didn't talk about it on the last show. Jimmy Butler tore his meniscus. Was it against the Bulls, right?
Yeah. No, Rockets.
Against the Rockets. Okay. Well, same colors. Yeah, he tore his meniscus. He's out for probably the rest of the season. I think he plans on making a return for the playoffs. Whether it's the first or second round is yet to be seen. But, Rick, how detrimental is this to Minnesota, and what are they going to do without him? This is
a very tough blow for Minnesota. Like, they were playing so well, and he's like basically their leader of that team. He's a vet almost, and they're going to miss him a lot. I think they could still keep on playing at a high level because Towns is playing out of his mind, and the other guys have to step up for sure, like Andrew Wiggins and all of them. And if he comes back for the playoffs, I think they'll be okay. So they're not in complete panic mode, and the season's not going to be lost. But it's definitely a tough blow every time you lose somebody to injury. And like with his level of skill and talent, like it's tough. It really hurts them.
Yeah, I think the one thing that worries for me, and I don't have much concern because I do think that with there only being like 20, 22, 25 games left, depending on what team you are, left in the season. I just think that they'll be okay because of the timetable in which he's set to return, and the fact that they're already the 3 seed in the Western Conference, and there's only between the 3 and the 9 seed in the West, there's only a 3.5 game difference. That's what worries me. So if they do go on kind of a skid and lose 4 or 5 in a row, they could drop in the standings. They could drop all the way down to the 7 or 8 seed just within a week.
Yeah,
I mean, that's scary because you don't want you want to be in control of your own destiny. When the last couple weeks of the season rolls around, you want to be guaranteed a spot no matter what. So in case something does happen or you need to rest guys, you'll still make it in. And I think that Karl Towns now becoming the number 1 option, if he wasn't already. I think Jimmy deferred to him a lot just because of how versatile he is. And just him being a stretch big, really a stretch 5, like he is, which is becoming a new thing. The stretch 5 is real now. And you thought the stretch 4 was crazy. Well, basketball's evolving.
Here we go with the stretch 5.
Right. But no, I do think that they will make the playoffs. It's just where are they going to finish? Do I think that they're capable of holding on to that 3 seed? I don't know. San Antonio, if Kawhi Leonard doesn't come back in time, which he might. We've heard reports that he might come back after he already said that he's not coming back. Now he might come back. It remains to be seen, and I think that's a huge X factor because with Kawhi Leonard on the Spurs,
that could change everything in the West.
I think that changes the entire landscape, like you said, of the Western Conference. Because if Kawhi's back, I think they can make the finals. I think they're.
You think so?
I think that they're capable of beating Golden State. I think that they're capable of beating Houston.
Oh man, I don't know about that.
If Kawhi comes back healthy,
I don't know about that. I think even if he comes back healthy and plays the way he plays, I don't think they're good enough to beat the Rockets or the Warriors in 7 games.
I think we have to look at what he was able to do last year, single-handedly last year in the Western Conference Finals when they went up against the Warriors in Game 1 at the Oracle. They were up 27 points in the third quarter. 27 points in the third quarter. Kawhi goes down, they lose that game. Think of that. That is over a 27-point swing because your star player goes down. I'm just saying that impact, I believe, is what he can have on this team.
Man, no, it's tough, and like you do have the best coach in the league in my eyes, and
that you do. Well, I argue that Brad Stevens is getting there. I think when it's all said and done, and Pop decides to hang up the whistle and the clipboard, that
it'll be
Brad Stevens will step into the.
But yeah, he's up
coach.
there. He's up there.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, I think Kawhi is that special of a guy, especially on the defensive end.
Oh yeah, you can't deny that on the defensive end, but I think it's just I don't think it's enough to beat especially the Rockets like.
Well, and I understand that, but like if the Rockets have a couple bad games in the series and they're off, and the Spurs steal a couple games, I think that they can win in 6 or 7 games.
You're right, because if Kawhi does shut down James Harden, like
Chris Paul can't do it by himself.
Yeah, the Spurs will win because better coach team, and they can.
Right.
They can outplay them.
Everyone knows Mike D'Antoni's theory for the Rockets.
Yeah.
Get up as many threes as possible and play defense. If the threes aren't falling and you can shut that down,
you're done.
I mean, the only thing you have to worry about is Clint Capella, which, don't get me wrong, he's a solid big man. But
without Harden and Paul.
Right. He's not going to single-handedly win them the game. I don't think that Chris Paul and Capella together, if you shut down James Harden, is going to win you the game.
Exactly, because Chris Paul's not the same that he was a few years back. Like, he's still a good player, but he's not like at the level of James Harden.
Right, and let's not forget that DeJounte Murray for the Spurs is really stepping up. Okay, they have guys on the bench like Patty Mills, and Bertrands or whatever his name is. The foreign guy.
Yeah,
he wears 42 for the Spurs. I mean,
Kyle Anderson.
He's a knockdown shooter. Kyle Anderson's very versatile. Obviously, Manu Ginobili.
Still, he can.
I think
Manu.
now we have to consider him in the 6 Man of the Year conversation.
Yeah,
he is playing really well these past couple months, and I've been really impressed, especially at him being 40 years old.
That's insane for a 40-year-old man.
Think about it. If he wins it, he'll be the oldest 6 man in NBA history.
40 years old.
Biggest bald spot in NBA history as well.
And they have Rudy Gay, Aldridge.
See, we forget about Rudy Gay. If Kawhi Leonard comes back, you have Rudy Gay coming off the bench now.
Which is solid.
I think that makes the Spurs have, if not the best bench, it's second best. Best in the West, for sure. Best in the Western Conference. Because I think right now, at least to me, and this is an unbiased opinion. I mean, statistically speaking, I do think the Toronto Raptors have the best bench in the entire league.
They do.
Because they can go 10-man deep, and they can continuously play defense. They can continue to put points on the board, and they'll agitate the other team.
No, that is true.
And I think that's something that, and not to go off tangent here, but I think that's something that Toronto has been missing in past years, in past successful years, is the depth of their bench. Because when Lowry and DeRozan go out, I mean, you're leaving everything on Valanciunas, or we'd had Lou Williams come in, and he was able to hold his own, but when we lost him, we had to replace. And I think that our general manager in Masai Ujiri has done a great job. And I'm really impressed, and I'm excited for the playoffs for this team. I really am. We have a shot, not guaranteed, but we have a shot to win 60 games.
Hey, that's
for the first time in franchise history, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what the remainder of the season holds.
I would love to see that for them, but no, just like going back to the Spurs, I think like now that you put it, like I didn't realize it, but now that you put it, like I think they could at least beat the Rockets, but I still don't think they're better than the Warriors.
I never said they were better.
No. I know, for sure.
Right.
But I still don't think they could beat the Warriors.
I just think that they have a shot. I think Houston has the better chance to beat them just because they're offense.
Yeah, because of their offense. Yeah.
If they're hitting threes, they're unstoppable.
No
unstoppable. But that's just like Golden State. If they hit their threes, they're unstoppable. But Golden State's more versatile. They like to play inside a little bit. KD likes to attack a little bit more.
Draymond.
James Harden likes to attack, but there's no one that can draw fouls like James Harden. I've never seen it anything in my life like that before.
Yeah.
I mean, if James Harden's getting 12 free throw attempts, 14 free throw attempts in a game, you might as well forget it, because that's 12 or 14 points that you're not going to get. So, I don't know.
That's true.
I want to see a Houston Golden State Finals, but if San Antonio ended up there, I still think it's going to be a great series.
Oh no, definitely.
So I mean it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what happens.
We are coming down to the home stretch, and it's getting good. The getting's good right now.
Yes, it is.
But let's talk about Kawhi Leonard was I think favored by some to win MVP this year before he went down. Some Vegas guys had him win an MVP, but I need to ask you about another guy that should be or maybe should not be in the MVP conversation, and that is Anthony Davis. This man, especially after losing the best big man, at least best center in basketball, in DeMarcus Cousins, and his teammate about a month ago, he's been putting up numbers like I've never seen before. Do we need to finally put him in the MVP discussion?
Oh, without a doubt. Like, this man is going absolutely bonkers against everyone in the league, and they're winning games. So he's just pushed himself into the conversation. He forced himself in there, and if he keeps it up, like, I think he has a chance, to be honest, because it's just insane what he's doing.
Like you said, we have to think about it now because Minnesota is not going to have Jimmy Butler for the remainder of the season.
Right.
The Spurs might not have Kawhi Leonard for the remainder of the season. Portland has always been shifty, and whether they play well, whether they don't, and we know that as good as Dame and CJ are offensively, obviously a probably top 3 or 4 backcourt in the league. Yeah, their defense is atrocious, and it doesn't help them win games. And then there's New Orleans. So we have a shifty Portland team, and we have the Spurs who are missing their star player in Kawhi Leonard, and we have Minnesota who's missing their star player in Jimmy Butler. If Anthony Davis can keep this up, they're only 2 games back of Minnesota for the 3 seed. And think of how crazy that is. I know I mentioned it before, how close it is between 3 and 9, and how the Western Conference could go any way. The New Orleans Pelicans could end up with a 3 seed in the West. If he ends up carrying that team, him and Drew Holiday, because Drew Holiday has been a pretty good part, and Rondo's been stepping up. I have to give him credit. If they step up and they get that team to the 3 seed, and Anthony Davis is averaging, 32 points and 15 rebounds.
Which he could easily.
He could easily do it without DeMarcus. The way he's been playing, if he averages 32 or 33 and 15, 16 rebounds, I think you have to give it to him.
You have to. Because those numbers are just dominant.
Those averages, as good as James Harden is playing, as good as LeBron is playing, that's incredible. That is otherworldly. What he's doing right now. And if that translates to wins, like it hasn't been able to in the past, I think you have to give it to him.
No, yeah, and I remember he had 45, 15, 5 and 5, 5 steals, 5 blocks, the only player to ever do that.
First person to ever do it. And you would think, back in the day, someone like Wilt Chamberlain would be able to put a stat line up like that. No.
And never been done. It's crazy, those type of numbers you don't see at all, and if they keep on winning, he does deserve to be in the conversation. Which I think Harden, he has it sealed, but he has a chance. Anthony Davis has a chance.
Like I said, these odds are very, very minimal, right? But the fact that it's a possibility is really intriguing.
It is.
Because we thought that, let's just say at the All-Star break, we thought James Harden at the MVP wrapped up. And these past couple weeks, Anthony Davis has said, hold the phone. I'm coming. I'm coming. If you haven't listened to Anthony Davis's interviews, his post-game interviews, his pre-game interviews in the locker room, just the way his demeanor, the way he carries himself, the way he speaks to reporters, this is a different Anthony Davis. He's all business.
All business.
I mean, he is so focused on getting his team to the playoffs. I wonder if he's actually sat down and thought about it and said, no, I can be MVP. I can do this. I will do this. And it's like we said when DeMarcus Cousins went down. We thought, how are they going to respond without, if not their best player, their second best player on their team, and a top 10 talent, hands down. What are they going to do without him? This has been probably the best response that I could have seen. Really, anyone could have seen coming.
No, yeah, no, exactly. Just how you said, and I remember I heard that Skip Bayless called him overrated and whatnot, and ever since
I
that,
can't believe that. Yeah,
ever since that,
you have to wonder. It's like if he heard that and he said, "All right, Skip, bet." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he said, "I'm going to do this,"
and it's crazy. We're talking about it last show that he was. In my eyes, he's been underrated his whole career.
I think so too. And the only point that I give Skip, and obviously I know he's not listening to this, but if I was going to critique him, the one thing I can say, is that yes, it does not translate to wins. But, when you have a player that is really good, just LeBron James for an example, because he always loves to bring up LeBron. LeBron didn't always win either. I mean, yes, he carried his team to the playoffs, but you have to think Eastern Conference, Western Conference. I don't think he's taken that into consideration when he brings up, well, LeBron James has won 26 career playoff games in his first 5 years in the league, and AD went to the playoffs one time and got swept by one of the greatest dynasties that we will ever see. Okay, that was the start of it, and he just happened to be the first victim. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just how you said, like, it's way different the West and the East. And
put the Pelicans in the Eastern Conference. AD probably has 20-something playoff wins too.
Oh yes.
Let's be for real. He has to play more Western Conference teams throughout the course of a year than Eastern Conference teams, and that is something that really bugs me when he brings up that statistic. Is because he's always harping on LeBron for being in the Eastern Conference because it's so weak. It's called the Leastern Conference for a reason. But the fact that Anthony Davis plays in the West and he's still able to win some games. Yes, he doesn't win a lot of games or all the time even have a winning record, because I'm pretty sure he's 40-something games under 500 for his career. But he's done that playing in the West all 5 years.
And with that New Orleans team, which he's never really had help up until now.
Yes.
Cousins and Drew and Rondo. Other than that, like, we have Austin Rivers.
Right, exactly. And, I mean, we saw that they were trying to get him a little bit more help. They traded for Nikola Mirotic, who I thought has played okay. I mean, it's been a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's still trying to get acclimated and included in the offense. But I really think that, having another perimeter shooter, I mean, can only help you. Especially when you have guys like, like Rondo, and I mean, he can't shoot threes, But he did have a pretty clutch 3-pointer the other night. I'm not gonna lie, that was really impressive to see. But statistically speaking, throughout his career, Rondo is not a 3-point shooter.
Oh no, he's not a shooter at all.
Period. Right. I mean, we've seen him shoot free throws. That's bad enough.
Goodness gracious. But yeah, I completely agree, and it's tough. It's tough for Anthony Davis, and hopefully,
Stop disrespecting the Brow. Top 3 in MVP voting this year, minimum. Guarantee it. Write it down.
And he's still young.
He's gonna turn 25. 25. He's not even 25. He's going to turn 25 this year.
He hasn't even hit his prime.
No, not even close. And he's already an athletic freak. It's like I said last week. I mean, this is a 6'3" guard in a 7-footer's body.
Exactly.
That's what this is, and it's incredible to see what he's able to do. And hey, if Pelicans get a top 4 seed, you don't want to see them in the playoffs.
No, you don't.
You don't want to see Anthony Davis in the playoffs. Not this time. He means business, and he's coming. I'm telling you right now, he's coming.
He's coming. And one thing I really like, just to close this thought, is that he does want to stay with New Orleans. He does want to win in New Orleans.
He is loyal. And I give him, and also Kemba Walker, because when he was on the trade block, he wanted to stay in Charlotte. And I genuinely believe he wants to stay in Charlotte.
You got to respect that. And same with Damian Lillard, those type of guys.
Yes, and hey, my man DeMar DeRozan. Toronto for life.
He's Toronto for
life. That's my guy. Hey, Vince Carter is the original Toronto Raptor, but Mr. Toronto Raptor is DeMar DeRozan. I tell you right now, it will go down. He will go down as the greatest Toronto Raptor in history.
Oh, at the end of the day, he will, without a doubt. I believe it too.
It will happen, and it's no disrespect to Chris Bosh either. Chris Bosh knows I love him. I love Chris. I love what he did in Miami. I had no disrespect for him leaving, because we did nothing to help him.
Oh no,
we did nothing to help him when he was here, and he still put up ridiculous stats.
And no disrespect to Kyle Lowry either, because I do love his game.
The one thing I knock Lowry for, I don't know if he was joking. Okay, there was a story before the Raptors re-signed him, right? And I'm sorry to go off tangent here, but when the Raptors were going to re-sign him and his contract came available in the summer, right? He said, "I'm only playing for a contender." That got me thinking. I was like, okay, Kyle, so you don't think that Toronto's a contender, huh? That's how you feel. And then, come to find out 3 days later, he ends up signing with the Raptors. So it's like, you got jokes, don't you, Kyle?
He's a funny little guy.
You got jokes.
He's a funny little guy.
I'm sure that was something between him and DeMar. They had something going on there.
Right. They're good friends.
That's got to be, and honestly, that's an unbiased opinion. They've got to be the funniest duo in the entire league. If not, Boogie and the Brow.
Boogie and the Brow,
just because of their name. I mean, really. Yeah. But no, they are. I think honestly, and I don't mean this in any which way, but I think Anthony Davis brings out the best in DeMarcus Cousins.
I think so too.
Like we saw a couple outbursts this season, but not as many as he had in Sacramento.
He was frustrated in Sacramento. He likes being with the Pelicans.
Right, and that's why I'm telling you right now, he's going to re-sign. Not just because of that, but because I think other teams are not going to take a risk on a guy that just ruptured his Achilles.
Oh yeah,
we look back at Kobe. He was never the same player. Granted, I brought it up before. Kobe was 34 years old when it happened. DeMarcus is 28. Big difference. 6 years is a big difference. Being in your late 20s and being in your mid 30s is a lot different when it comes to recovery.
It really is.
And Kobe had all those miles on his body and championships and playoff games and
his body took a pounding every year.
God, it did, yeah. Well, hey, you know about it. He played the Celtics twice in the finals.
But we know all about Kobe.
But yeah, Kobe, man, he is God, such a great player. I miss him already.
I miss him too. Like, that's something to think about him,
and I miss him.
I hope he's good with his family.
But yeah. Oh, I'm sure he said he's having a great time being retired. He's doing everything he couldn't normally do.
What a guy.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss the Mamba. Anyway, moving on to our final topic here. Actually, running a little long, but that's okay. Final topic for today. Rick, who has been the most disappointing team or the most impressive team this season?
The two, like, I'm going to give you two of my most disappointing teams. It's going to have to be the Phoenix Suns, which I didn't think they were going to be this atrocious. And then the Bucks, because I thought you would see improvement with them, but you haven't seen it really. And, yeah, and, like, with the Suns, I would think they would play better because they have Devin Booker. I thought Tyler Ulis was going to play better. I thought, he was going to do something. Marquise Chris, what a disappointment.
Really, Dragon Bender for me. The hype that surrounded him when they drafted him.
There was so much hype.
Really, really disappointing. Really disappointed with how he's played the past couple of years.
I think it was like the 4th overall pick, something like that. That's crazy.
They have two. No, I'm sorry. Josh Jackson was the third overall pick, right? No, he was the 4th, right?
4th, yeah. Because
he was the 4th.
Third.
That's right. Yeah. So no, they have two number 4 overall picks in Josh Jackson and Dragon Bender, and they really haven't been that impressive. I mean, Marquise Chris was still a lottery pick, and I think that he's done okay.
Yeah, all right.
Same thing with Devin Booker. I mean, he's a stud, obviously.
Yeah, and he got picked 10th.
Yeah. Was he
10th or 11th?
I think it was 10, 11, or 12. Something like towards the end of the lottery when they took him. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But no, I would have to agree with you. Phoenix, and I'm looking here. They have the worst record in the NBA. But that makes me think they have the worst record in the NBA. Do you think this actually helps them next year? Maybe at their chance of getting a Michael Porter Jr., Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, because if they snag one of those guys, it's going to be...
Well, I think they need a small forward.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know Marvin Bagley's a quote-unquote power forward, but he can play the 3. If not, move Josh Jackson to the 3, put him at power forward, and then you can have Marquise Chris play center. And then you got Devin Booker at the shooting guard, and then...
Alfred Payton at point guard, which he's played well with the Phoenix Suns.
Honestly, you think about that core, them moving forward, that's solid. Really, obviously, playing in the West is going to be a lot more difficult. Yeah. But with that core, and then Tyler Ulis coming off the bench, Dragon Bender coming off the bench.
Solid.
God, man, yeah, whoa, now that I think about it, wow, yeah, watch out for the Suns next year.
Yeah.
Depending how the lottery balls fall for them.
It all depends. Like, if they get a good pick, if they pick someone good this draft, which they hopefully will, like, this has to be the last season they're this bad because they have players.
Right.
And Alfred Payton is very underrated, I think. Not very underrated, but he's underrated.
Right, well, I mean, they're guaranteed a top 6 pick. If that does happen. Well, no, if they have, I take that back. If they have the absolute worst odds, they're guaranteed a top 4 pick. They'll pick 4th. I think this draft is stacked enough to where they could get somebody that would actually maybe put them at being, competitive for the playoffs.
Oh,
in that sense. I think Devin Booker needs a solidified second option. And I just don't think they have that right now with the pieces that they've acquired throughout the years. But like I said, if they could get, Michael Porter Jr., Marvin Bagley, even DeAndre Ayton. I mean, I know that he's a big man, but I mean, if you get him and Devin Booker as a combo, that would be really nice because he's an animal at Arizona.
He is insane. It'd be nice to keep him in Arizona.
Even I would really like to see Devin Booker play alongside really I'd like to see him play alongside Sexton out of Alabama.
That would be nice.
Because if they somehow do get screwed in the lottery and end up with like the 5th or 6th pick, I think Sexton would be a really nice option for them.
That would be nice. Like I personally would like to see like how you said, like a forward for them.
Yeah. Especially
Michael Porter Jr. That would be if he does declare for the draft. That would be something.
A 3 would be ideal for them. Or like I don't know. I mean, if there's really no point guards that absolutely blow me away in this draft. I mean, Trae Young, he's good, but he's inconsistent. And yes, there's the comparisons to Steph Curry, but I still think Steph Curry is a one in a generational type player.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think that Young is going to be that guy. So unless you get screwed in the lottery and you don't really have another option, take him. Obviously, because I'm not saying he's not talented. He just doesn't blow me away.
Would you take Luka Doncic with the first pick? I would.
If the Suns are lucky enough to get the first pick, I'm taking Luka Doncic. He should be the unquestionable number 1 pick in this draft. Period.
Yeah.
But then I have to think it's like, okay, well, what do I do with Tyler Eulis? Because Elfrid Payton's going to be my backup.
Yeah.
Just for his playmaking ability. I mean, did he cut his hair yet? By the way,
he hasn't.
He hasn't. Yeah. He said when he got to Phoenix he was going to cut his hair. I'm still waiting for it.
I saw a picture and he still had it.
Oh, man, he needs to. Is it, what number is he wearing for them? By the way,
shoot, I don't even know.
Because I know he was wearing number 4 in Orlando. Then he changed it to 2. I wasn't sure if he changed it again when he went to Phoenix.
I know he had a triple-double. I think.
Did he really?
Almost.
Oh, wow.
If he didn't get it, he almost.
Well,
did.
we know he's usually due for a handful of those throughout the year.
Yeah.
He's
I like him.
Definitely more than capable.
I like him.
But I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. Probably Phoenix is my most disappointing. I have to give a shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers before they made the change, because the way that they had put this team together, I thought it was gonna be stacked.
Yeah.
And then when they end up having the second worst defense in the entire NBA, and then you're in danger of losing the 3 seed in the East.
In the East.
In the Eastern Conference?
I thought they were going to be a dominant team
right.
with Wade, Jay Crowder,
right.
Thomas.
I thought that they were going to win close to 60 games. I was thinking 58, 60 games at the beginning of the season.
Minimum.
Being in the Eastern Conference?
Minimum.
But, hey, you know what? Sometimes things just don't work out. I think they had too many egos on that team.
That is true. Yeah.
That's what happened. But, no, yeah, Cavs shout out for my most disappointing team.
What about most impressive team?
Toronto Raptors, for sure. I'm a biased fan. I have to give a shout out for the Timberwolves. I didn't think. Yeah, I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they'd be this good. Like 3 seed in the Western Conference, good.
Yeah,
so,
neither did I.
Shout out to them. They've done well.
I would have to think about the Denver Nuggets. Like I know they're not like one of the best teams, but
right. But I mean, hey, they're floating. I think they're a game or game and a half out of the 6th seed.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, like
that's pretty good.
With Jokic, Jamal Murray, like he's still extremely young. I think it's his 2nd year or 3rd.
Yeah, I think it's his 3rd year, 2nd year. I thought he was only 20 or 21.
I think it's his 2nd year.
Second year. I think he's 20 years old. Yeah, you're right. Because they traded Nurkic, and then that's when he started to show out. And this is you're right, 2nd year in the league.
So that's with him and Jokic.
Man, there's a lot of basketball yet to be played. I mean, we've still got 2 months left.
Exactly.
Well, not 2, about a month and a half.
And the best part hasn't even arrived, which is the playoffs.
Right. And wait, we'll be here all throughout the playoffs, making predictions, talking about it.
Man, it's gonna be
incredible
really fun.
Performances.
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be great, man. I'm excited. Basketball is always fun, and always enjoy talking about it with you.
No, same here. It's a lot of fun. I like doing this.
Yeah, that's gonna do it and wrap it up for us here at GRCV Hoops. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
And don't forget to check us out on our social media at Facebook and Twitter.